Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
Marvelous. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Taylor, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. With me, as always, is my co pilot in all things Marvel cards. He's the reason I write these intros. He's the reason I get up every morning. I didn't write this in advance, so I'm making this up as I go along. It's nowhere around. I was reading it and I realized I haven't
That was
written
good.
anything.
Yeah, we got anything there. I
No,
love it.
no. But the thing is, I have got what was there. I've copied and pasted it from an old one. Um, and I've got the one that I used on the Flare episode. I wrote you the best intro ever on that Flare episode, and you couldn't make it.
Oh man, I feel so bad because I actually what just happened recently, I have an extra because now I'm doing the grading thing. So now I
Mm.
have like extra surfers that I'm okay with letting go because I know the grade of one or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I have a buyback for
Oh,
one of the guys you had on who's making the buyback set and
uh,
he needs it.
a Dennis or
Dennis Gold.
yeah,
Yeah. So I messaged him. So he said he does need it. So I'm waiting for him to see if he still wants to grab it when he does. I told him just to give me the price on it. I don't care.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like if he has comps on it, I don't give it. I'm
yeah.
not gonna, you know what I
Dennis is
mean?
cool.
Yeah,
Dennis is
exactly.
cool.
I'm not gonna argue with that stuff.
Yeah,
But so I offered it to him. Who was it? Keith mentioned it to me, and I was like, oh, that's right. So but hopefully he
good.
picks it up. He can finish that collection. That's a tough set, man.
It's
Buybacks, the
an
buybacks are
it's
tough
an
sets to finish.
insane set. I mean, the number of people that have finished. By the way, hello everybody. Welcome. Hope you've had a good week. Um, we forget it's not just the two of us.
That's right.
No, we're in a crowded room, but we just can't see the people that are here.
We only notice each other.
They only note each other. The number of people who have now, well, I say the number of people, I still think it's on one hand. You could probably do it. Have done a full buyback set from Fleer Ultra X-Men 2018. You know, they did the
Yeah.
buybacks from either the 94 or the 95 set. And
There's
there
no way
are,
there's more than five, if that.
well, we know one, obviously, Alan, Mr.
We
Fuxham.
That's it.
But I'm pretty sure I've seen at least two other people commenting that
Oh,
they've
guess what happened
done
with
it.
Alan?
Mr.
He got the
Fuxham,
Havoc sketch.
the
The
one he
one
was
he
jonesing
wanted.
for. Wow. Oh, that's
Yep.
brilliant. That's
Yep.
brilliant.
Our buddy reached out to us and he was like,
Oh,
okay, so I have it. I know he's looking for it. Do you want to reach out and see if he has it? So I emailed him and he's all ecstatic. So
oh,
hopefully we
wow.
get an update. So I'm happy he got it. That just
Oh,
happened
cool.
like 2 or 3 days ago.
Good,
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's
I
pretty
don't know
cool.
if Alan listens because Alan is furiously busy with the stuff that he gets up
He's
to
crazy busy. No, no,
in real
no.
world life, which I don't fully understand, but it's business.
Well, it's funny because like the guy who wanted to sell it was like, oh, I think Mr. Fuxham wanted this because I heard it on the podcast. And I was
Mm.
like, what a great thing
Yeah,
to have, you know what I mean? To have
because
him for
whoever
the
it is that
podcast.
has it, I remember when the episode dropped, he posted it on group and said, "Sorry, not sorry," kind of thing. I
Sorry,
was
not
like,
sorry.
"Oh,
This is
that."
mine. Yeah.
I thought, well, a because Alan doesn't use social media at all, so he wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
But I thought, how mean?
Yeah.
I'm just going to flex. You know,
I'm just going to flex.
I'm just going to
People
flex.
enjoy their sketches.
They
The
do.
sketch
They do.
community is an interesting one.
They do.
It's an
So
interesting one.
this is part two of last week's where we started on questions and we did the whole thing about NY New York Comic Con.
Yep.
So at the top of this episode, we had Simone Bianchi
Yeah, baby.
because last week we had Peach Momoko. So the two people that at least two people that you met. Now you're
Love
probably
them.
thinking, what about the intro love for Eric Gist or Geist?
Yeah, baby.
I'm very pronounce your name. Sorry, Eric. I know we keep butchering that, and it would take me no time at all to go back and actually listen to how you yourself pronounced it. And yet I've not done that, so I apologise. So you're probably thinking, well, you met him as well, so we need to do an intro for him. So
Yes.
we'll do it. We'll use his as soon as we can after episode
Awesome.
150, which will be next
He's so
week as
nice.
people listen to this. Giant-sized 150th episode
We're doing
spectacular.
issues now. Hope everyone knows.
Yeah,
We changed it
issues.
from
Yeah,
episode. We messed up.
this will
It's
be
issues
issue.
now.
Well, it's going to be
Issues.
issue from 150.
From
I'm going to
150.
start doing
Sorry.
it from 150.
150.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a
going
good
to
way to
start
start.
doing it from 150. Um,
Yeah.
so, Simone, ciao, Simone, we love you. Ciao, Gloria. You're
Yes.
bellissimo. Um, and last week, I also, because even though we've only just talked about it and we don't know if we can do it yet, I'm aiming to put the videos up of us talking. onto our YouTube. So hopefully this one will be up there and people can see it. Because
Yeah.
last week, and hopefully I'll put last week's up as well so that people can watch that as well. Um, um, I opened some, or I told you about the Amazing Spider-Man Panini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Oh, you did
Shall we
not.
open a couple? Let's open a couple.
Hell yeah.
Let's open a couple.
Please.
So they come in these kind of very
Those look
thin.
great.
Yeah, they're very thin, and they're kind of wax paper. They're waxy paper,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
It's
like.
kind of like what the other ones were in, right? Like
Yeah,
the
exactly the
80th
same.
and the verses.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Okay.
And they've got multiple designs of them, but you can't open them easily for toffee. I mean, you really can't.
Oh, they
You
do
have
have
to.
different Spider-Mans.
Yeah,
That's
there's about
cool.
7 or 8 of them. Um,
Oh.
so the best way to do it, because it's very, very super easy, because it's very, very
Uh-huh.
super easy to bend the card or the sticker. So you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of have to do this across the back, and I can already see the back of the card because the card is always at the back. You see, there's the corner of
Awesome.
the
So
card.
Ian opened the flap on the middle and
Yeah, so you kind of
tore it
tear it
down
across
and
the
then
middle,
got it
and
kind of
then
curled it back a little
yeah, and
bit.
you've got
That way you're
enough to
not
just
pulling on a corner.
no, you got
Yeah, there
enough
you go.
there to just rip it further, so that
Be
you've now
done.
exposed the top end, so that's now clear, and
Wow.
then you just pull that down at the front, and it just comes off
Love it.
straight away. So we're going to look at the sticker first. So there's a sticker.
Ah,
Oh, that
Web
cover.
of Spider-Man
Web of
black
Spider-Man.
suit.
Web of Spider-Man #1 sticker.
That was
Sticker
cool.
number 66. And then we've got, so yeah, that's 81. So you can see some of them are interior panels
Oh,
as well. So they're not all
very
kind of
cool.
front covers. The cards are all front covers.
Classic.
Then there's this one here, which is Spider-Man No More. That interior panel.
Beautiful.
That's
Beautiful
John Romita
foil on that.
Senior artwork. That's
Wow.
nice. Now, the one thing I will say is because everyone expects this to follow the same conventions as American cards, it doesn't mean there's a regular version of this and this is a foil parallel. It's just that this
Right.
sticker is always foil. That's just some of the stickers are foil, some
Nice.
of them aren't. That's just the way it
Huh.
goes. And some of them have borders, So that's that one.
Very
And then
cool.
this is sticker number 2. It's part of a 4 part
Ooh,
thing. So there's it makes up
cool,
a four
cool.
part picture. So stickers one, two, three, and four
Yeah.
are a four
Mary
part
Jane in the
picture.
background
Yeah.
and Gwen Stacy.
Oh,
Cool.
I should check that background to make sure Black Cat's
Oh
not in there.
yeah.
Oh,
Smart. I
right. And
actually
this is the
forgot about
card.
that.
So
Ayo.
as I said, the
That's
front
awesome.
covers are front covers of issues, one for every year that
Wow.
the comic has been running from 62 to 2022. Yes, I can do math. Um, so
That makes one of us.
this is issue 1. So it's not issue 1 really. It's issue 16 or whatever Legacy is, from 1999. So the backs are
That's
very
so
plain.
cool.
They don't really do much on the back. It doesn't tell you anything. The only thing that's different is that bit with the issue number and the year,
Mm,
and that bit
yeah.
with the thing. But it's cool.
That
So
is cool. I
I'm
love that
hoping,
concept though a
yeah,
lot. That's
I'm
awesome.
and they're really nicely executed. They've kind of got a border around it, as you can see. They've put a border, and
Does
it's
that make an image, that border, or is that the
no,
same
not
across
at
the
all.
board?
It's the same across the board. The
Oh.
confusing thing is on the back. There's kind of a spotted dotted line border, if you can see, but it's
Oh,
always at that
weird.
angle, so it always looks miscut. Do you see what I
Oh, I
mean?
see it.
It's just the design of it, and there's one going down
That's
the side
weird.
as well, and it is really strange because when you look at it, you think, surely that's
Something happened.
but no, they're perfect. I mean, no issues
Yeah,
with
they look
yeah,
perfect. I mean, the centering on
you
that's
know,
pretty clean too, from what I can see.
that's Panini for you. So I've accidentally
Right?
pressed something on my screen. Hang on, let's get that. There we go. Right, let's open another one of these. This is the joys of having a video format that we will probably upload.
You can
But
still hear that
for
the
those
hotness
listening,
of the pack
yeah,
opening.
for those listening on audio, sorry, not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Let's get this out. Right, what we got there? That's Craven.
Craven yelling in the rain.
There we go.
Oh,
That's
holding
such
the
a good
black suit.
storyline.
That's
Such a
great.
good storyline, that is.
Oh,
That's
that's cool.
Craven's. Is that Craven's last hunt? Yeah.
It
No.
looks like it.
Yeah. I think it is. Anyway, what we got there? Spider-Man
Oh,
Noir, I believe.
Noir.
Yeah. Now that's foil 7. Now some of them they're numbered 1 to 162, but there is a subset of foils. There's 26 of them.
Oh,
Foil
really?
7.
That's
And I
nice.
think in the center of the binder there's just a little Spider-Verse thing, and that's what the foils go
Oh,
into. But the weird thing is they're called F7 on the back, but not all of them are foil, which is weird.
that's weird, but I
Yes,
love that.
because that's not well.
The
It kind of
quality
is.
of
It
these are
kind of
nice,
is.
though.
It's got a shine to it. It's got a kind of a
Yeah, I
shimmer.
see it. I can see a little shine to it.
Strange. Um, interior panel one. Peter and
Oh,
MJ.
nice.
And
Oof, the Loto.
yeah, so some of the artwork on them is brilliant. That's a foil one as well, F15.
Wow.
But I don't know if you can see, but that's a when you peel that off, you don't get the full sticker. It's kind of the
Yeah, you got the circle. I was going to
yeah,
ask.
yeah. So some of them
Huh.
aren't, full sticker things. And then oh, there we go.
Ayo.
There's the card.
Ah,
So
it's a good
that's
cover, isn't it?
issue
Spidey
112 from
cops out.
1972. Spidey cops out. Such a good cover.
Great
I mean, they're
cover.
all iconic covers. They're brilliant. So yeah, those cards, I'm really enjoying those. Right, two more packs, and then we'll get on to the questions that we didn't finish from last week, um,
Oh, that's right.
which I'm really looking forward to getting back
Me
into because
too.
there's some good
I like
ones.
the questions. The questions are always really
There's
fun.
some good ones. That's because there's very, very intelligent, mature, responsible people who listen to our podcast and contribute
Well,
in the group
except for
whenever we
one.
ask for questions, except for
You
one,
know,
and he's
you
Canadian.
know who you are,
Yeah.
Perna.
Um, I've just remembered what he's put. Oh, you're gonna love
He's
it.
the best. I
You're
gotta
gonna
do a
love it.
video chat with him
There
in
we go.
Atlanta.
So that's a F17, one of the foils.
That's cool.
There's
That's
some
really
good
cool, actually.
artwork in those. Good artwork in
What
those.
kind of Spidey is that?
I have no idea. Um,
That's
where we go. Some of these are upside down. What's that? That's issue. That's sticker 121. That's
so
just kind of
cool.
a big rumble. That's the thing.
That's
With
awesome.
being a character collector, you've got to very carefully study these.
Tell me
You've got to
about it.
very carefully
Gosh,
study these to make sure your
all
character's
that.
not in there
Always,
somewhere. So I
always,
wouldn't be
just
at all
hiding.
surprised if Black Cat was like somewhere in
Yep.
there. We've got here. And this is that's a Daily Bugle. That's an internal kind of pin-up thing. The day at the Daily Bugle.
Ooh.
That's from kind of one of the early issues. Might be from one of the annuals actually. A
Huh.
special Spidey pin-up. Yeah, they used to do those in the annuals. Um,
I
and
like
then
it.
so the last kind of 20 or 30
Nice.
stickers, actually, when you stick them in, they stick in and they form part of a comic book story
Yeah,
on the
that's
page.
cool.
And I think that's one of the first ones of those. Um,
Hmm.
and then we have issue
Hey.
546, Brand New Day. That's card 49 from 2008. Look at that. It's brilliant. Now, can you imagine how good this would look in a CGC slab next to a
That
CGC
would
comic?
look really cool.
They
I
would look
love
really
these
cool.
cards, man. They're
They're
really pretty.
so good. They're so good. Right, one
They're
more to
so
go.
nice.
One more
You
to
know,
go.
it's funny. I just on the forums, on the CGC forums, I actually just put up a character collecting forum.
Oh, I saw you just posted that. Yeah, I need to look.
Yeah. So I just posted that. I don't know what compelled me to do that, but I thought it'd be kind of fun
Mm-hmm,
just to see people, to see how people collect and stuff like
mm-hmm,
that. So
mm-hmm.
our friend, I think we know him, the guy who collects Punisher hardcore.
Oh, Chris. Can't remember his surname
Forget
now.
his last name. He was on there, Submariner, and I forgot who else was on there. I just saw, but
So
that's
we
cool.
have here. That's a sticker
Ends of the
123, but
Earth.
it's a comic cover sticker. Into the
Oh,
Earth, which is somewhere in the
that's kind of cool.
600s, if I remember. Yeah, 665.
Wow, Venomized. That's cool.
Brilliant. And then we've got who's this? That's Venomized
Wow,
Gwen. So Gwenum. Brilliant.
she looks awesome.
And then yeah, no, see, like I said, some of the stickers are comic covers. Look at those.
That's cool.
That's actually this one is my favorite ever Spider-Man story. Goes
Really?
107 to 110 in Spectacular Spider-Man. It's when they were trying dark stuff, and it's the Sin
Oh,
Eater storyline,
oh, he who
written
is
by Peter
without
David.
sin.
Yeah, and it's
Hmm.
pretty full on. It starts off with Gene DeWolf getting shotgunned. It goes downhill from there. Um,
Oh,
and then, of course, you got the Spider-Man Unlimited there with Ben Riley and Spidey from the 90s.
that's
And
crazy.
then, so those are stickers. So I'm keeping this comic cover stickers as well. And then the card issue 200
Ew.
of Spectacular Spider-Man, which I think you saw last week.
That's a great cover.
It's a great cover. That's Sal Buscema artwork.
I love Sabashema.
But look at the gloss. You can really see the gloss on that. See, it's just on the characters there.
So sick.
It's really well done. And it's on the lettering as well.
I need to get
Nice.
better condition ones for Surfer. That versus one and the Delota one are not in the best of shape.
Oh, from the versus
And the
2022.
80th, yeah. It's such a shame because I have like 3 or 4 copies, but they're just not very
To be
clean.
honest with you, I think a lot of it is about, I mean, you've seen the packs, you've seen what they're like. I've
Yeah.
opened these
Oh,
stickers now. If I
did
leave
you see
these,
the 80th has an Italian and a Brazil? We talked about that, right? I had to get the other
oh,
one.
you mentioned, yeah. Is this on the cards?
It's on the back on the copyright.
Means I'm going to have to get multiple
I know,
copies.
sorry.
Okay, all right. So these stickers, perfectly flat, and I've just opened them. If I leave them in here, just out in the air like that, in 24 hours or so, the top one will have curled up like that.
Oh,
Just because they're thin. That's just what they do.
they're
So
so
if you don't
thin,
stick them
yeah.
down, yeah.
And they
So
look
if you,
vacuum packed in the
yeah,
thing too.
they are,
So
they are, they are sealed. Um, so the thing is with these, if you're intending to keep them separately and not stick them in a book, put them in a card like a deck sleeve or something like that, pretty much straight away, because you don't
yeah.
need to see the back. You don't need to see
No.
the back. So just put them in a deck protector sleeve.
No.
They tend to be a bit thicker and they've got the full backs on them.
They're
Um,
sturdy.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I use the ones that Upper Deck do for their legendary games.
Oh yeah, they're nice.
No.
That's cool.
And you can, I've got some with Spidey on the back as well. So when you turn it over, you'll
It's
see
perfect
Spidey.
then.
So yeah, so that's what I do. Right, let's get back to these questions.
I love it.
Right, here we go. So now, fortunately, on my phone, you see, I put a little green tick on the ones that we did last week, so I remember.
I
I thought you'd like that.
do.
Right now, where to start? Where to start? Well, actually, this is a good place to start because we just mentioned his name, so we will invoke him. Tony Perner
Ew.
asks, "Do you like all sets from UD? Do you like that all sets from Upper Deck seem to include characters that shouldn't be there, e.g., Mr. Sinister in the recent Spider-Man Metal Universe set?" Um, to which a guy called Matt Knoxall followed up and said, "Tony, why use him instead of the Punisher? Would have made for some great comic cut cards." And he's right. No, I don't like it. Is my, as you could tell from my thoughts on Spidey Metal Universe. It's like there's at least 20 characters that had no business whatsoever being in that set.
Agreed.
I just don't get it.
It didn't make sense. And
Didn't
it
make
didn't make
sense.
sense. There's not a lot of like, I don't know. It's just really upsetting, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't get like they have this one card in there of Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and they're at a dinner table and they're kind of looking at each other lovingly.
Yeah.
Like they could have just had that. I mean, I know you need a high and low, but they could have had that as like a high, as a low, and then a high one of them together, and
Yeah.
just have one
Rather than
set
have
of
separate
20
cards.
freaking
Yeah.
cards instead of having 40 something cards
Yeah.
with Ben and Aunt May everywhere. Like it just feels like, especially with the types of characters like Sinister and stuff like that, there's no like theme. Like I mean, like I don't know. Like it's funny. Like I've been doing, and I promise this comes back to the point of Tony's question, but like I've been looking at cards more intensely now because of the stupid grading thing that I got my idiotic self into. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. It does not, it just doesn't compare. The 90s stuff is so beyond anything that's happening, really. You know what I mean? Like a few card sets here and there are nice modern wise, but like they're just so spot on design wise. They're interesting. They do something. Like
Mm.
it just feels like it's really hard to compare to what was done then to what is being done now.
Yeah.
Now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they're just so purposeful and they feel interesting. They feel like weird things. Like for instance, like the best part of Spider-Man Metal is the retro animated cards, hands
Mm.
down,
Mm.
right? Between the design, the character choice, the die cuts in them, like those are like that's Marvel cards, in my opinion. Like those are interesting, or like the way the comic cuts are designed. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about the border, like
Yeah.
that's really fun and interesting. But like zooming in so closely on characters, using the same art across palladiums and low and high, having that many parallels. I don't know,
Mm,
man. Like, and it doesn't stop at character choice. It goes deeper than that. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like, if you're
mm.
gonna make a set and charge people that kind of money for it, everything from top to bottom needs to be purposeful and designed and have some
Yeah,
kind of theme.
yeah.
Because otherwise there's no longevity to the product and
Well,
it
like
makes no
Black
sense to
Diamond.
pay money for it. Black Diamond made total sense from
Yes.
top to bottom. Every card, everything had purpose, everything had design,
Mm,
everything had something to it that would ensure the longevity and the historical significance of the card set. And as of right now, like they can't keep doing this where sets are coming out and not only is QC an issue, quality control, but also like the content of the set doesn't make sense.
mm.
I don't know. Like I hate to go off on a tangent like that, but
No, that's
I'm
fine.
not
That's
very
fine.
happy with that direction at all.
No,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
make sense.
I'd rather have had less cards and have them more Spidey focused for a
That's
set
my
that's
point.
branded to be
Like
Spidey. You know,
I
have it
rather
have
have
it as
less
50 and
cards.
50.
Like that's it.
I'd rather
Like
have
you
a
want to
strong
do less
50
cards?
than a weak 100.
Boom. Doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Mm.
It doesn't make sense. Like I'd rather have less than have so much
Hmm.
of stuff that's not
Hmm.
necessarily needed or wanted or
Hmm.
desired. Like it doesn't make sense.
Or rather, actually,
I
I'd
agree.
rather have something that divides equally by nine. I'd
What is
rather have a
that, bro?
solid
Like, how do
81.
you not know?
I'd rather have a
That's the
solid
way to do
81.
it.
Yeah. Or
That's
solid
the way to do it.
72.
You have it
Yeah.
divided by nine.
I was
That's
just,
purposeful.
I mean, I know a lot of people are storing stuff in like one touches and card bins these days and top
No,
and
but
one
like
touches and things like that, but still.
cards are 9 pages.
Yeah.
Like that's essential to the history of cards. It's like
Yeah.
they're in nine, and especially with Marvel. Marvel had so many sets where the 9 page made a full image, right?
Hmm.
Like the Marvel Universe or
Danger Room
Jesus, Flair, Danger
from
Room,
the Jim
right?
Lee
Classic
set.
Jim Lee
Yeah. Jim
set.
Lee X-Men. Mm.
They made 9 page battle scenes or team ups or like
Yeah.
had this really cool construction in them or the three things like in Fleet Ultra
Oh, the
Spider-Man with
triptychs.
Hildebrand,
Yeah.
the
All the,
triptychs.
yeah.
Like those things are essential to the hobby type of thing, man. When you start making 100, 200, that kind
Mm.
of stuff, you're just doing that because your numbers are like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Tony followed up with, please ask the powers that be at Upper Deck why they don't give artists reasons why sketch cards are rejected.
Yep.
So I've just read that out. So powers that be at Upper Deck, please. I mean, ultimately, it's not them that reject it; it's Marvel, as I understand it.
But
My
there needs to be
understand.
some kind of form letter, man.
Well,
You can't have these
yes,
artists working for pennies
I
and then
agree.
have them do all this work and then it's thrown away.
I
And
agree.
that's just a real shame because I've seen a
I
lot of
agree.
cards rejected
Mm,
that if those cards came into the market, they'd be legendary sketch cards. Like
hmm.
people would really
Hmm.
cherish those pieces and
Hmm.
they would be the centerpieces for a lot of
Mm,
collections. So it's a complete shame.
mm. I think that there's an issue there. There's not that many people at Marvel who can and do approve stuff,
Yeah,
as
that's
in it
true.
could
I
just be
mean, I
one
know they're
person.
swamped,
That person could be just really busy, and the Disneyfication of Marvel and their brand guidelines just to what isn't acceptable, and or what doesn't fit what Disney want Marvel characters to now look like in this modern day and age.
but what you
I mean,
do
those are the
is
challenges.
but the thing, it's very easy. You just make a template email. You have 10 reasons, 10 universal reasons. You make a template email. You put in one of those 10 reasons, a sentence or two,
Hmm.
brief. It doesn't have to be specific for every
Hmm.
artist to the point where the artist is getting, notes that detail their work specifically. Just enough where you'd be like, hey, this is it. This is the one particular
Yep.
guideline
Yep.
that was circumvent that was made an issue, and this is why we've had to reject these. Unfortunately, we guarantee that they are stored and they're destroyed or whatever they do with them, which is
Yeah.
another thing I have a question about. Um, that's it. That's all it requires because the artists, at least the artists that I know that are getting rejected, the ones I speak to personally, they're smart enough to know to once they hear the reason that they understand how to
Yeah.
circumvent that issue because
Yeah.
they don't want to see their hard work
Yeah.
just tossed to the side like that or thrown
Mm.
away, which is what it should be. but whatever.
The thing is, if you were doing that, if you were doing a work for someone, even as a freelancer or sole proprietor or contractor, even at my office, if my boss had an issue, it'd actually give me reasons, and there'd be feedback, there'd be
Yeah,
constructive feedback, and I'd know what to
100%.
what to do to improve things for the next time. So it's just, I don't know, it just feels a bit rude.
It feels
But
very rude. It feels
mm,
very rude because people putting a lot of work into these things and
mm,
people paying very good money for these things.
mm. Tony has also asked. He's got two more questions. Tony has asked, "Is it true?"
100%.
That's the end of it. That's the end. Tony's final question doesn't actually have a question mark after it. Radish. That's it.
He knows how much
Radish.
Radish upsets me. I don't
Radish.
know why he brings this stuff up.
Is
He
that is
knows
that
how personally affected I
I
am by
think it's
Radish.
I think radish might actually be Tony's safe word. Let's not go there.
I was
Um,
about to say something. No, I'm going to be
no,
like,
no, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Moving on. Moving on.
Radish.
Um, radish. So we're gonna go on. We're gonna go on to
No,
other
no,
stuff
I'm
that
sorry. I have to ask Ian, safe word, and it can only be food. What do you pick?
cucumber.
Mine's pineapple. Good
Yeah.
job.
No, it's the one that we used when we were talking to Upper Deck. I
That's
said,
right.
do you remember? I
That's
said to
right. That's
Grant,
right.
that
Yes, I
Grant,
do. Yeah,
Grant
yeah, yeah.
actually
That was
emailed me
good.
once and just said reply. In reply, just said cucumber.
Cucumber.
It just
I
cracks
love
me
it.
up.
That's the
Oh, Grant.
best.
So I'm sorry. We are being a little bit harsh on you at the moment, Upper Deck, but it all comes from a place of love.
100%.
Kevin Moses asks from a place of love and frustration. When will Upper Deck stop using recycled art from the different sets? Spider-Man Metal Universe has recycled art that we used in Marvel Ages, a set that was released
Yep.
2 years prior to Spider-Man Metal Universe. So, I mean, I think we talked about it here, and I'm pretty sure Upper Deck have mentioned it. They have a library that they choose from that is made available to them of art that they can use on the when it's not an original art set. I'm I think the challenge that I think is that they're going to that well and it's not being refreshed. It's a pool of art. It's turned more into a bit of a swamp.
Apparently, it's way more than just a few images. Like
Right.
Tony from Upper Deck said that. Like he said it was
Oh,
like
really?
a well. Like it was a massive thing. And in my opinion, that's atrocious. Like that's what I heard that because I asked the same question when Upper Deck did the Spider-Man Metal review thing. I went on there and I asked him, I was like, hey,
Oh,
and I
that was
and
the
I was
focus
very
group thing that they did.
and
Yeah.
I was super polite. I was
Mm.
super polite because I'm obviously, there it's a job for them like anything else.
Yeah.
And people, are tired or whatever the case is. So again, this is not an attack. This is more of just like a critique and my personal opinion of things. But I asked, I was like, I'm seeing art being used in a very strange way across different inserts. I don't think it's right that you have the same art you're using for a base card on a Palladium. I don't think it's right that I'm seeing a character and their art is spanning across three different sets used over and over again. And, I don't think it's right to see these kind of zooms and crops that completely, you know, destroy the essence of the character. It makes the card very unappealing. And these are very high
Mm.
profile
Mm.
characters. Could you, explain the reason why those choices are being made? Is that something Marvel is forcing you to do? Are these, things that you've had to change for copyright issues? Like really trying to give some leeway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, they're going to look into it. And the person who's choosing the art, and there's a big library, and they should have enough images. I'm telling you right now, I'm saying this right now. There's no reason for those three things to be happening. If it is something that's being controlled by Marvel, that's the only reason. But the zoom in,
Mm.
that's wrong. 100%. Using the same art from the insert set to the base,
In the
there's
same
no
set.
reason.
Yeah. That's just.
There's no reason for the Palladiums to have the same art on the base card in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that.
Mm.
There's no reason for that at all. And it's not, and look, I'm all about using artwork um from the comic books on cards. I don't always need it to be original art. I'm not one of those people. Like
No.
I want to see famous iterations, because here's the thing a lot of people forget sometimes, that every character has a string of artists that they have had to do interpretations of them for particular runs on their
Yep.
issues. Spider-Man has some, Black Cat has some, Silver Surfer has some.
Yeah, Silver
I
Surfer
want to be
Black.
able to
That was very
collect.
different, wasn't it?
Yeah, Silver Surfer Black by
Mm.
Treadmore and Donny Cates. Like, there are a lot of different renditions of surfers. Garney, Buscema, you know what I mean? Kirby. Like, I want to see, Morbius. I want to see all those different renditions of surfer eventually make it into a card, because for me in collecting, that's key. That's
Yeah,
awesome, you know? But like, for instance, in Spider-Man Metal, we got Todd McFarlane, Venom in a high series.
brilliant.
That's something people have been wanting. The crop looked good. The card sits well. It looks nice. You know what I mean? I'm sure that image was used maybe once or twice somewhere else, but maybe in comic images. I can't remember. Maybe I'm
Very
misremembering.
few Todd
Very
McFarlane
few times I've
pieces have
seen
been
that.
used by Upper Deck.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's been a lot, because I was going through all the cards for the signature series for CGC thing, and it just, there's not a lot out there.
Mm.
Not really. But anyway, that's super important to collectors. But you know what? You need a person who's sitting in that chair at Upper Deck, who's picking out these images, who knows what is up.
Yeah,
Like, you can't have someone there who's also picking like pictures of sports
yeah,
things,
yeah. Shouldn't
which
just
I
be
know
someone who
nothing
works
about.
in creative.
You
Should be
should have
someone who knows
someone
the.
in
Yeah.
non-sport who has enough of a finger on the pulse of pulp culture to
Mm.
be able to siphon through these things and say, okay, we've only had this, and also just keep a
Keep a
database.
record of when you last used
That's
them.
it.
Yeah.
Just
Mm.
say, hey, here are the artists, here are the characters we used, here's the set that they come from. Yes, does it take a little bit of work? Sure. But look at your product at the end of it. Each your inspiration too for what images to pick becomes a lot easier, because you're
Yeah.
not just like looking in the dark. You're like, oh, we've never used a Ron
Yeah.
Gardney Silver Surfer before. Let's go to the library, let's pick an image, and boom, now we have a surfer from Ron Gardney.
Mm.
That's it. I don't know. I'm that's the one thing that's lost my mind really recently with product from
Yeah.
Upper Deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not right.
Kevin Moses also goes on to ask, oh, sorry, I've got to have a stretch.
No worries. I've been
Oh,
yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning. I feel so embarrassed.
well,
I'm like going
well,
though.
it's relatively early morning for you still. It's only just after 10
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever it
true.
is.
It's me.
I've had
I get
lunch and
that.
I slightly overdid it at lunch and I've got a big meal to come up for the evening. So I'm kind of ready for a nana nap right now. I could just quite happily just put my feet up and have some 15-minute shut eye. Kevin Moses goes on to ask, also, is Upper Deck ever going to address the distributors who constantly gouge prices and continuously manipulate the market? I'm looking squarely at David Adams and Steel City about this question. Um, well, I mean, Upper Deck listen to this podcast, so I kind of just want to leave that hanging in the air. I'd love for Upper Deck to at some point come on and talk to us properly about this, because I'm slightly uneasy where it says we have nothing to do with the prices. That's completely out of our hands. I just don't quite buy that, because you're making the product. So there's something slightly broken about the system for my money and for everyone's money, because it's costing them more money than it should be. Um,
Agreed.
so yeah, I would love for someone at Upper Deck to actually properly talk to us about that. Now, I'm going to caveat that to say that Upper Deck are a private company, so they're under no obligation to talk to us about that at all, because
No, of course not. No,
their
no, no,
business,
no, no.
the
No.
nature of their business is that they don't, they don't have to talk to any of us. We're lucky that they've come on and
No.
spoke to us a much.
No, they're awesome.
But I
Yeah.
would love for someone who really knows how the distribution network is set up at Upper Deck would actually come on and properly like lay it out and explain why it works the way it does, and at least give us some sort of understanding of why the decision was made to do that. Now, I have a feeling I know why, but it's only guesswork on my part. And I have a feeling that it works the way it does because when EPAC came out, Upper Deck needed to appease all the big distributors that were carrying the bulk of their sports product. And so there was a very favorable deal that non-sports just has to fit into. So I have a feeling that the deal, the way it works, is to keep that distributor network sweet because of EPAC.
I
but
mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know
doubt it.
I don't know if that's the case or not, and I'm not saying we'll ever find out. But that's my. But what I'd love to do, someone like Keith Boyle or Phil
Yeah. Keith.
Paul Zenisek, who both own businesses, who both actually understand how that distribution network works and how it is laid out, and they've actually posted in group. And I've read what they've written, but I still don't completely understand it. When you're reading something and you're like, I know this is a perfectly reasonable and logical way of um, explaining this, but I'm reading it and I'm just rereading it, and it's just not going in. So what
Right.
I'd love to do is maybe we do an episode first with one of those guys, just so that they can break down how it is for everyone. Um, yeah, I think that's
I
all I've
think
got to
people would
say
love.
about that.
I don't know. I mean, I think the problem that I have with so much of this
That's on mute.
is that so many strange angles. Like I understand Upper Deck has to make its money.
Yeah.
And if they're not selling Spider-Man metal for 500 and something dollars on ePack or whatever it was, and everybody else is selling it for 500 or something dollars, that's money on the
Mm.
table. I get
Yeah,
that.
I get that.
That
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense to me. I understand. But the problem is that you have digital cards in your packs. That's an issue.
yeah.
And you're charging that price for a physical product that doesn't have digital cards. Like that makes me a little confused on why that price point is existing there. And the truth is, here's the thing. Marvel card fans, all of us, we pay for this stuff. People don't know that, but we are a tight community and we don't mess around. We buy this stuff out. It disappears. It's not because of the little sports card guy or some curator or someone on YouTube yelling out about something. It has nothing about to do with those guys at all or any of the pump and dump garbage. It's the people who collect this thing since the 90s that come back
Mm-hmm.
and buy this stuff and buy you out.
Mm-hmm.
We're the ones who do this. We're the ones that hold on to it. That's something for everybody to remember.
Yeah. And you know what? That ties in perfectly with the next question from our friend from Hawaii, Chris.
Ah,
Anyway, I think I've
I love
pronounced your name
him.
properly, Chris. Chris is lovely, by the way. Since we had him on,
I love Chris.
he's such a lovely guy. Such a lovely
I have to
guy.
hit him
I kind
up.
of
I
want to
haven't
reach
spoken to him
out.
in a
I'm
while.
going to reach out and give you an audio hug. And in fact, there we go.
I'm doing it too.
There we go. There we
I
go,
like
Chris.
this.
That's for you.
This is nice.
Group hug.
Yeah,
So,
Chris is
um,
great.
Chris, and this was weeks ago. He typed this. I hope it's not too late to submit a question for Sunday. No, you
No, it
weren't.
wasn't.
Sorry that this one is long. Feel free to edit or condense. It's not long. It's actually only two sentences. Um, Undoubtedly, you're aware of the turbulence that Marvel cards have seen over the past couple of years. Turbulence? What turbulence? I know nothing of what he speaks. I'm kidding. Frustration from long-time collectors, the influx of investors and sports card collectors, PMG mania, blaster flippers, etc. Where does the Marvel card collecting hobby go from here? Is the hobby irreparably broken, or are these just growing pains that will create a more diverse but stronger Marvel card community?
So, funny story. I was talking to someone who is a longtime comic book collector.
Mm,
And basically, I've been working grading comic books for a very long time.
hmm
And I was having a personal conversation with this person. And I was talking about this hobby because they wanted to understand Marvel cards a little bit more. And they were like, this is so funny. This is exactly what happened to comic books. And I was like, that's interesting. What do you mean? And she was like, well, basically, what it is now is that anybody who has any of these books that are like truly $1 million books, things that don't exist on the market, is controlled by 5 or 6 people. And those five or
Really?
six people either die, sell, or you never see the light of day again. And that's kind of what happened with sketch cards, old school sketch cards for Marvel, right? A lot of these old school Marvel sketch cards are controlled by 6, 7 people. Basically, unfortunately, you're either waiting for someone to decide to sell one, you get something that they really need to trade, or unfortunately, they pass away for whatever reason. Hopefully, old age, all that kind of stuff. But you know what I mean? Like that's usually what happens there. I think eventually the different pockets of Marvel cards will do the same in terms of PMGs, which I'm not very interested in on that end. You'll have the 6 or 7 people who have the crazy stuff, and they'll trade amongst each other, and it'll just be a
Or
circle.
26 of them.
That I love that. That was good. That was really good. And then you'll have the same thing with MM, and then you'll have the same thing with whatever other set.
Yeah.
The truth is, I had this experience, and this might sound corny, and it's because it's coming from me, it's definitely going to be corny, or special, as someone commented to me recently. I said that too much, which really upset me. But I was looking at the hologram, which is one of my favorite cards from the 1994 Marvel Universe
Oh yeah,
hologram
yeah,
of
yeah,
Surfer.
yeah, yeah.
And I just looked at it, and I was just like going through the collection because, again, I'm doing the grading thing, which I'm less excited about the grading. I'm more excited about looking back at these cards and really looking at them
Mm,
again, which I always look at them, but I'm getting to look at them again, and I'm just kind of like transported. And I just remember that initial feeling I had about Marvel
mm,
cards and how excited I was to see them and experience them at that point.
mm.
And then I'm going through the Metal Blaster, and I'm going through my Flare, and I'm going through my Marvel Universe and my old masterpieces. And I'm kind of like, maybe this is where it's at for me. Maybe I make a hard line at 2013 or 2012 beginnings for Surfer, and that's it. And be happy with that. And I got to be honest, like, and saying it out loud, obviously it puts a little bit of a target, on me and all this other weird stuff. But I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm enjoying the
Mm.
cards like we always talk about. And I think that's where I'm just gonna be, to be honest with you. I think that's where I'm gonna go. I think that's the future of Marvel cards for me, is that
Yeah.
my appreciation for the ones that got me into the hobby will deepen. And here's the other
Mm,
thing to say about that. I think that will change from person to person. Like a good friend of mine, Alonzo, who's really into Spider-Man metal, that guy loves Spider-Man metal. He
mm.
went hardcore into it. He's bought tons of it, hasn't really sold any. He sold one card basically since he's bought all the product. And he was a Pokemon collector, always loved Spider-Man, finally got into Spider-Man metal, was able to like buy a lot of the cards that he wanted because he was able to like buy a lot of the product. And he's as happy as a clam. You know what I mean? And
Good.
that's his set. And I think that's, if there is a way to answer that question without being too long winded, because I've been talking forever now, is that I do think people are going to find the sets and the cards that mean something to them, and they'll just come back to those instead of trying to, as we collect them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just don't think that's the future of card collecting anymore. It's not collecting all. And I think that's the biggest growing pain of all this.
Yeah. Got to catch them all. Got to catch them all. And that process started with, well, it had already started by then. I think it definitely happened with Masterpieces 2016 because that set
Yeah.
made master sets
And that was the set.
unobtainium. Um,
Yeah.
but it was already happening with the size of Marvel Beginnings. I mean, I was watching
That was massive.
Keith and Amanda talk on Instagram yesterday, and Keith Boyle, and he was saying that he's still got some holograms to go from Marvel Beginnings because they're so, you know, I mean, they are truly difficult to
They
get.
were a monster to find. They
Mm,
were really tough, and they
they're
weren't
really tough.
selling very high.
No,
But they weren't selling very high with the ones you found. And
yeah,
that's because a lot of people don't realize that, yes, Marvel cards were not always expensive, but you know what? And I'm going to say this publicly, 100%. The stuff that was in really good condition that people really loved, you can't find.
mm,
That wasn't just everywhere on eBay. All the
yeah,
extra stuff you saw on ComC and
yeah,
eBay before the boom and all stuff, that was stuff that people left over
yeah,
because it wasn't in high grade. And that
yeah,
stuff was just sitting there because everyone else had a complete set who was going to
mm,
have a complete set. That's why you found those holograms or PMGs from 2013 and all this stuff around, because that was the leftovers from
yeah,
the great the great scavenger hunt of building sets.
yes,
People don't realize that now. Like, there's a lot of cards from MM16. An orange Silver Surfer tier 4 is sitting on eBay for 299 or whatever it is. And that card's sitting there. It's because people have their sets built. You know what I mean?
mm,
People have these completed and stuff, and it's a lot of money to spend on these cards. But
yeah,
I guess my point is that it's not that the cards were once cheap, now they're expensive, or people just didn't know, and now they're super expensive. All that's just irrelevant. The point is that the people who collected these cards, who really cherish these cards, and there are a lot of them, keep them.
Mm,
People forget that. Look at Keith. Keith has
yeah.
been doing this for a while. For
Yeah.
him to have what he has from beginnings and from what we talked about privately, that man
Mm,
has been doing this for a while.
yeah.
And that stuff he gets is keeping. Like
Yeah.
that's locked away
Yeah.
deep six somewhere in his closet. That's
Yeah.
never going to see the light of day
That's
type
one
of
hell of a
stuff.
closet. The amount of stuff
No,
that
it's a
Keith's
one
got.
hell of a closet.
It
No, I
is one
mean
hell of
that
a
like
closet.
he's not even and he like he's one of the biggies obviously, but he's not even the tip of the iceberg. There's people we don't even
Oh
know
yeah.
that
Oh,
deep six
absolutely.
this
There's
stuff.
loads.
You know what I mean?
There's loads.
Crazy people
I
who've
keep thinking
collected
of
this for a long
this
time.
really terrible movie about an underwater thing called Deep Star Six. And I
Star
keep
Six,
thinking
I've
of
never
that.
seen that.
No, Deep Star Six. It's called. It's some underwater
Deep
base.
Star
Let me just quickly Google this. So it's
6.
fascinating listening for everyone.
Welcome
Um,
to the
but you
movie
keep saying
section
Deep
of the
Six, and
Marvel
it's
Cards
not an expression
podcast.
I'm aware of. But Deep Star Six was a 1989 film. It's a science fiction horror film.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Uh, um, a group of Navy engineers are building an underwater base when they inadvertently disturb the lair of a gigantic creature. And it's got Greg Evigan, Matt McCoy, Miguel Ferrer, Nancy Everhard. I mean, proper like chewy C-list
Oh
people.
wow.
Cindy Pickett. I mean, I recognize these names. Matt McCoy was on a really good episode of Star Trek Next Generation, playing Devon Nani Ral, I believe his name was the character.
Huh.
Greg Evigan was in My Two Dads. Miguel Ferrer, of course, he was in RoboCop, passed away a few years ago.
Well, the
I mean, he's a
phrase deep
brilliant cast.
six, I think I might have used it wrong, but the phrase deep six is in former North America, deep sixed for past tense, and it says destroy or dispose of something and irreversibly or
Oh wow,
irrevocably.
okay,
Something. So it's like deep sixing like evidence and stuff. Where the hell did
yeah.
I pick up that word?
I don't know, but basically,
I
what
don't
you're
know where
saying,
I got that shit.
well, it's
That's always been
fantastic.
in my head too.
Let's just go with it. But basically, they're holding, is what you're saying.
Holding.
You know, these people are holding.
Yeah.
They're not dumping. And the thing is, the other thing is, if you're looking for something and you're finding it really difficult, chances are that someone else has got an unfinished collection and they're also looking for it. You know,
That's
um,
always what in my that's what I've always experienced,
yeah.
man. That
Um,
yeah.
but it's where does it go from here? I don't know. Listen, I think there'll always be there'll always be churn in the hobby. There's been quite a lot of churn recently. It's a wonderful word, that is. New people
That's
coming
a
in,
good
old
one.
people leaving. Um, and there'll always be quite a lot of that. There certainly is in the various Facebook groups because people do burn out. You know, there's been people very recently. There was someone, in fact, we were talking about him before we came on air, who's just recently left hobby groups, not just MCCW, but he's
Yeah,
left
that's a
some
shame.
Star Wars groups because he just needs to have a break because it's pretty
I don't blame
intense
him.
because social media magnifies everything. And, you know, you end up with people raging at each other at 3 in the morning um, over the most ridiculous stuff.
Stupidest
Um,
stuff.
so I think I'm going to, how do I answer this question without answering the question? I'm going to answer the question in a different way. I don't think the hobbies are irreparably broken, but I think, as you said, you go back to your source. And you know, the one thing I hear people talking about who are properly like followers of of faith is that they always go back to the Bible. You know, that's their source. So they go back to it, they read it for comfort, and they read it for, you know, whatever religion. It might be the Torah, it might be the Quran, whatever it is. You go back to the text, and that's your kind of guiding, you know, your North Star, if you like. I go back to my binder and look through my cat PC as you did with your surfer, and you look through it, and you again get the feels. You know, you get the feels for
Yep.
whatever it was that led you there in the first place. So I did that yesterday because I was like, you know, I've had a busy work week. Loads of people are chatting on
Yeah.
Instagram about the hobby, and because of the fact they're chatting about it and you haven't posted in a week, you kind of think, oh, maybe I'm just not, you know, maybe the hobby's going on without me. I had those irrational thoughts at stupid o'clock in the morning when I wake up. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to my
Same.
binder, and I pulled out a really good comic cut, and I posted it last night just to share it with people. You know, comic cut Cataday because it's Black
I
Cat.
love it.
Um, you know, and I haven't got masses of comic cuts, so it's not going to be a massively
I
ongoing
wish I
stream.
had more.
But
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought I'd just post it up there, and it, brought a little bit of lightness into people's days. And you know what? I'm going to go back into that binder in a couple of days' time, and I'm going to pull out something else, and I'm going to share it on
That's
Instagram.
the way to do it, man. Like that's the way to do it. I 100% agree. That's
Um,
amazing.
and not just cat as well. I'm going to have to start sharing some more stuff on there that's not just
You
cat.
have a lot more
I
stuff
I got a
too.
fantastic thing the other day. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. It is knackered, but it is mine, and I'm not talking about
I like that.
my ass. Where is it?
Ah.
Yes, this issue 26 of Amazing
Oh,
Spider-Man. It's
what?
super low grade, super low grade,
But
but
it
it is
looks
mine.
cool as hell.
Yeah, I read it. I can smell it even through the bag and board, which are new.
Oh,
It's beautiful. I mean, it's barely, the cover's
Prime
barely on. It's
Master.
got ink stamps on the front cover because that's the way they are. They were in the UK, and it's brittle. It's quite brittle. You can see the edges are getting all chippy. But I was able to read the whole thing, and it held together. So that's my criteria. It's a
Oh,
reading copy,
that's awesome.
but it's issue 26
Oh, I love that.
from 1964. I want to say. I
That's
think that's
so
64,
crazy.
but it's beautiful.
That's so crazy.
And do you know what the crazy thing about this is? I got this on eBay for less than the cost of an pack of Spider-Man Metal Universe.
See, that's my issue. You know what's funny? You bring that up. I don't
No further questions.
understand. No, like we have other questions. I'm sorry. So, like,
No, no, no. We do have a question. No, I meant no
I'll
further
wait.
questions, as in defense rest, Your
Oh,
Honor. Next case.
I mean, you're right, right? Like, I mean, I do that all the time with my collectibles. It's like, if this costs this, how can I
Mm,
realistically pay this for this
mm,
card? Like, it
mm,
doesn't make sense. Like,
mm.
I know. Look. Here's the truth, and here's the most frustrating part. People do make money off this stuff. It's not like it's not real.
Oh yeah, of
Like
course.
I've seen enough now where people are paying stupid money for things, but like in my mind, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. And maybe I'm the crazy one, but it doesn't make sense. Like that comic book there, history. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, how do you get to feel that part of like history of your character in the book like that? That's why I like comic cuts because I feel like they carry a little bit
yeah,
of that essence.
yeah.
I don't know, and I don't mean I'm not blowing out comic cuts. I don't think a comic cut should cost more than the book. You know what I mean?
No, no, no.
That's crazy
Oh,
town.
I
But
went to
like,
sleep the other
yeah.
night and I missed an eBay listing. Sorry, I've completely cut you off there, but
Oh
I
no,
just want to
really?
share this. Yeah, I completely forgot. And to be honest with you, I probably couldn't afford it anyway. But I've been wanting a comic cut for Amazing Spider-Man 195.
Mm.
And there was one on eBay, and it was at something like $15, and it was 4 hours to go, which would have meant 3 in the morning. So I was going to set myself a little snipe. It ended up going at $58.99, which is ridiculously good value for a Spider-Man Metal Universe comic cut from Amazing Spider-Man 195, second appearance of Black Cat.
Oh,
Isn't that the most beautiful cut? And I missed it because I forgot to set my bid.
it'll come back up.
It'll come back up. It's nice. It's nice. But I just because the thing is, I didn't feel the need to chase down comic cuts from Spider-Man Metal Universe from issue 194 because I've got 4 cuts from issue
And your
194
cuts
from
are nice.
Fleer Ultra
Your cuts
Spider-Man.
are
So
really, really
I kind of feel
nice.
like I've done that. I don't need to do it again, just with a different border because a lot of them are the same. JD's been posting a lot of these, and obviously they're using the same books for panels, and so they will choose almost identical images. So you have cuts that are coming out now with repeated images, which is it kind of is what it is. I mean, it's going to happen,
I mean, for
unfortunately.
books that are not expensive, that's obviously going to happen. But it
Hmm.
was a weird conversation because I thought part of it was like trying to claim that these cuts will always be around. I got to be honest, when the book costs more than like $20,000, $10,000 to cut up, you know what I mean? You're not going to get comic cuts from that book
Hmm.
like every set. And even
No,
so,
and those are the
like
ones that make sense to go a bit balls out
that
for.
makes that
Yeah.
for money
Hmm.
wise that makes sense, and he's right in that sense. Like the thing people are trying to charge both on sketch cards and comic cuts that should have nowhere being that kind of money for the box, even though that's the hit
Yeah.
of their box.
Yeah.
Too bad. Like that's not the money that should cost for the box.
Yeah, you're
You're
just trying to
wrong.
recoup. So
You're
you're
just
setting
trying
a
to
value.
recoup.
Yeah.
That
Mm.
doesn't mean that's the value. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So many people are experiencing FOMO and losing their
I
minds
know.
that they get confused.
I
But
know.
yeah, I agree. I appreciate that he does that because people need to have some point of reference for a lot of this stuff. But some books you're not going to get tons of cuts from. Like
I know.
I would imagine it doesn't make sense for Upper Deck to spend that kind of money on that book multiple times to put him in multiple sets. Maybe I'm
No.
wrong in that
I mean,
thinking,
Amazing
but
Spider-Man 15, I think that was the good choice for this set. So hats off to them on that. And I love the fact that they looked different, the comic cuts
yeah,
from
even
that, and they were
Spider-Man
very
1.
limited. And Spider-Man 1. Now, here's the thing. This is one of the other reasons why I chose a comic cut for yesterday. Someone in group the other day said something that everyone else just kind of got not completely pitchforky. They just kind of laughed,
Pitchforky.
you know what I mean? Yeah, there's that gif that's taken from the Simpsons movie where all the town are approaching with
Yes,
pitchforks and
yes, yes,
torches.
yes,
They
yes,
didn't quite
yes.
go that bad, but someone posted in response. I think Eugene posted a comic cut, and someone posted in response, "Oh, these are taken from reprints anyway." As in, it was from Amazing Spider-Man 1, but it was from a reprint of Amazing Spider-Man 1. It's like, no, it's not.
No, it's not,
It's really
idiot.
not. So if anyone read that and has not gone back to it and has taken that away and thinks, oh, well, there's no point in me going for that because it's just like, yeah, no, it's not. Because you can tell, I
No,
mean, you
they're
can
not.
tell from the age of the paper for a start.
Immediately you could tell.
And,
If you ever
and from
looked
a
at the
reprint,
pages of a
they'll have
reprint,
gloss and they'll be vibrant and they'll be much
and
more
they're
modern
because they
printing.
don't
Yeah.
what people don't realize, which I hate to say because it's only going to cost me more money in the future, but like Marvel doesn't have a lot of scans of this stuff. They had to recolor, redo stuff. They
Mhm.
had things they were not keeping track of these books like they should have because how would they have
Mm.
known this was going to happen? Like you can't find
No,
the reprints. If you ever
no,
read a reprint,
no.
thank you very much, is
Yep,
that you would know that
yep,
the pages are glossy,
yep.
they're colored
And
differently.
the white is white, which
Thank
was
you.
never the case even when the books first
Never the
came out in the
case,
60s because it was
ever,
printed on pulp,
ever.
paper, which is why they're so brittle now.
Of
I
course.
mean, that book is eating itself as I sit here.
Yeah, there's
You
no,
know,
yeah, of course.
it's degrading massively, much like me. Um,
Yeah, much like
thank you,
everything, man.
Chris. Thank you, Chris. That was a great question. That was a great question.
Awesome question.
Yeah, Joshua Estes. Yeah, I would like to see Upper Deck acknowledge where the art was from an artist if reused on back of card. Yes,
That's the
100%.
way it should
Please
be.
credit the artist.
100%.
Please
There should
credit the
never be a
artist.
card in the future
Even on the
printed
original art set, we had this when we were
everything.
doing the Flare episode. It's like on cards 1 to
Yes.
90. It's just not on the back of the. It's just the worst.
I
It's
heard
it's
that in the edit,
it's
and I was like,
rude.
I'm so glad they mentioned it because it
It's
should be
rude.
there. It's not only rude, but it's stupid. That's the
Yeah,
card. That's the essence of the freaking card. Like Marvel card collectors are art collectors. They should have the name of
yeah,
the artist on the card.
yeah, yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Whatever set it is, that should
Just
be
do it.
common
Just do it.
practice.
Mind you, they put James Erdel out of a job because bless him, he's doing the fantastic job in MCCW every day. He's doing what he did with Marvel Annual,
Because he's a
and
rock star.
yeah, and he's finding the original art source from each of the base cards from Spider-Man
God's
Metal
work.
Universe, and he's posting. Well, he's posting two a day because he's doing low series in the morning and high series in the afternoon. It's great. I love
What
it.
a beast.
Hats off to
What a
him.
beast.
Thank
What
you,
a
James.
freaking
We
rock
salute you.
star. Thank you, James.
In more than one way. Glad I'm sat down. Anyway, Isidore Chavez, Izzy.
Can't take you anywhere, man. Like we never gonna do a podcast that
That's
makes
not
any
true.
sense.
That's not really true. Um, Isidore Chavez. Isidore Chavez.
Is
Sounds
he?
like some sort of spy.
I love it.
A Latin spy. Hmm.
A Latin
Um,
spy.
do you guys prefer seeing old iconic art from classic sets we all grew up with, or do you like to see more of the modern style of art in today's sets? For as much as I love the classics, I look for the future of art as it's fresh and fun. I just hope that we see more original and less recycled in the future of Marvel. Even if it is recycled, I want more variety from the library. So yes, so we're going back to that. So I'm not going to dwell on that. But can I just say, I was so much as everyone's got their own Masterpieces 2016 or Masterpieces 2018 or Masterpieces 2020, there are stands for each of those set, and they'll defend that hill until they go down. No one's right. Newsflash: none of you are right.
No
It's just
one's
your
right.
personal preference.
It's
I,
subjective, man.
you know, and I just loved how different. I loved the difference. Vive la difference is what I say.
I like it.
How Masterpieces 20 was compared to Masterpieces 18, and how
Yes,
Masterpieces 18 was compared to Masterpieces 16. I
that's what it
love
should
that.
be.
I love that.
It should be.
And
That's what it should be.
it felt vibrant. It felt invigorating. I loved the original art on Flare 19. Oh my giddy aunt.
I
We are
thought it was great.
massively overdue for an original art set. Now, I know COVID notwithstanding, but we've been on the backside of COVID for over 2 years now. So we're kind of due for an original art release,
Like, let's go, bro. I'm
which is
ready.
like Fleer Ultra Avengers. I bring it on. My fear about Fleer Ultra Avengers, and I'm trying not to get too obsessed on this right now, is that from the previews I've seen, I'm worried that the card design will get in the way of the original art, if that makes sense, from based on
God,
what
I
I've
hope
seen from
not.
Fleer Ultra Avengers so far. I'm hoping I'm wrong because the beautiful thing about Fleer Ultra X-Men and Fleer Ultra Spider-Man in 2017 and 2018, respectively, is
Yep.
that the art very much was the top of the
Unencumbered.
pie, and the other stuff, the what design there was on the card supported it, but stayed in the background.
Agreed.
I'm hoping that Fleer Ultra Avengers keeps that the same.
It
I'm
needs to.
slightly worried about the preview stuff I've
I'm worried
seen.
about how many parallels we get. That's what I'm worried
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
listen,
I'm
I mean,
with you. I worry about your thing way more
yeah.
than anything else.
But I am looking forward to that set because at the very least on that set, I will probably want a set of the a base set because I assume that I will be able to appreciate and experience and enjoy the original art on that through that base set. So,
It's gonna be nice.
whatever else, I'll be happy with that. My girl has never, as far as I'm aware, been in the Avengers. So I'm quite happily. In fact, I've had it confirmed that Black Cat is not in that set. So
Oh,
I'll
nice.
be happily
That's
sitting
good.
on the sidelines on that one and going, "Yay!" Like I was with Metal X-Men Universe, um,
It's
which
always nice to sit in the stands.
I only had the buyback. Yeah, I need a little bit of bench time.
Yeah,
I
dude,
really
spine the
need some
metal.
bench time.
Bench
So do you
time. I
prefer
love
to see
it.
an older iconic art from classic sets? You know what? I like a bit both. And that's the beauty about being a character collector is when you flick through the binder, if you've got it as organized as I do, is it goes old to new, and then it has a little bit of a segue in the middle where I break up the kind of eras a little bit by stickers or TCG. So I've kind of got the
Yep.
90s stuff, and then I've got a buffer of TCG or stickers. I can't remember which order it comes in. And then I've got the Rittenhouse stuff.
That's cool.
And then I've got another little buffer of whatever it's not stickers or TG, whichever one it wasn't. And then I've got Upper Deck from like 2012 up to now.
That's cool as hell. That's
That's
awesome.
kind of the way I do it.
That's
So,
really great.
but it's weird. For sets where buybacks have happened, I've got mixed pages, so all my flair is on one page because it just about feels a nice nine
Mm,
up,
that's nice.
including the retro stuff from
Oh, the
retro.
retro stuff.
Yeah, because there's
I
a
love
flair
those retro
card.
cards. The more
Yeah.
and more I look at them, I wish I had full sets of those things. I really like them.
Mm. Well, in one of the subsets from Flair, I can't remember. I think it was 2015. There was a Flair subset, and it uses Dodson art
I
from the
know.
comics.
I know.
So it's not original art; it's reused, but it's still Terry
Looks
Dodson
great
art.
though.
Terry Dodson art just works on a card.
It really
Um,
does.
so yeah, I think. Listen, I think we'll see both. I think we'll carry on seeing the recycled set just because of the nature of what it is.
Yeah.
Original art does take a long time to do. It's not a quick thing. Plus, it
No.
all needs to be approved. But yeah,
Yep.
definitely, we've spoken about the variety from the library. Definitely. Um, this is a really good one. Paul Zenisek says, with any new set, the card
Oh.
acquisition rate seems to be lightning fast and seems much faster with Spidey Metal than other sets before it. FOMO. Do you have any advice, guidance on patience or a story about patience paying off in the long run?
Yep.
Patience paying off in the long run. Well, we both, I
I
mean,
mean, my whole collection is built on patience. I mean,
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I mean, both of ours. I'm assuming. Like, I've waited. I mean, what's the longest I've ever waited for a card? Or were they? Um, it was in 2000 when I was working for Dade County Schools. I was working, oh God, 2000 like 7,
Hmm.
something like that, where I first no. I forget when I first saw sketch cards. It was way earlier than that. I was high school, so 2004, 2003. I don't remember. But I saw I saw sketch cards for the first time.
Oh.
Silver Surfer sketch cards, and I lost my mind. And I couldn't afford it because I was still high school. Because they came out in 98, 99. But
Mm,
how was I gonna do that stuff? So I was just collecting the regular cards, and I showed that letter from eBay from 1999 where I'm buying a hologram through
mm,
my mom's account.
it's
But
hilarious.
I waited like I got these just last year or this year, and
Nice. Oh,
on
my dear Dato.
I saw these on
Oh, beautiful.
ooh, what was it? Sketch no, Scoundrel. I saw these on
Oh, wow.
Scoundrel
Okay.
back in the day, and it was the same owner who had them
All that time.
all that time. And I've been keeping up with him for a long time, but he's a ghost. And but I've been keeping up with him, and I overpaid for these, beyond stupid overpaid for them, but I sold some stuff, had some money. I
Nice.
sold like, extra cards I had, things that I pulled that I was like, no, I guess I won't keep these, or sketch cards or something like that.
Nice.
And I finally did it. But like, yeah, that was years and years and years, and I
Mm,
mean like decades of waiting. And I know people who've been waiting even longer for stuff.
mm,
It's all patience. Honestly, in my opinion, the better you are at understanding yourself in terms of what you like and what you will cherish, the patience is easy because it happens eventually. And that's it. And it sucks to
mm,
wait, and it sucks to go through the headache of it. But
mm.
long-term collectors, man, I mean, that's the
Yeah.
job in every hobby, is
Yeah.
waiting, just waiting.
I think it's patience. There's also a little bit of laziness on my part because I've still not finished Masterpieces 2020. And it's just because I haven't pushed for it because other stuff's coming up. And you know what I'm like? I'm like a dog, a three-legged dog chasing a fire hydrant. Well, no, fire engine. What am I doing? Anyway, one of those. there's, there's, there's someone somewhere will understand what I said and they can
Someone
tell
other
everyone else. Um, but um, because I end up chasing something else or they release another set and I haven't finished doing the last one. So, but yeah, Masterpieces 2020. But people will say, oh, just go on Comps and buy it. But I've aimed to collect, with the exception of the EPAC achievements for it. I've aimed to collect Masterpieces 2020 physical. And I've always done that with the Masterpieces
wow.
sets. The only exception has been for Tier 4 Purple and EPAC achievements because I've had to use Upper Deck because of the limited nature of them. And obviously
Yeah,
plates and things like that. You might have to go,
yeah, yeah.
if it only exists on EPAC. But yeah, so at some stage I just need to finish my base set 1 to 81 on Masterpieces 2020. And it's not necessarily patience. I just like keep forgetting to because I'm looking at this week. I could have quite happily done, you know, at the moment I'm doing these panini ones because they're cheap and I can buy them at the shop down the road. I mean these are $1 a pack. Um,
That's awesome, dude. Fuck,
and
I love that.
but yeah, believe me, if I had a Comsey store just down the road and I could go in there and grab some of the stuff on there that's at 50 cents a dollar, then I'd do it.
Sure.
But it's slightly more difficult. Sorry, my thing is rubbing on my zip and it's really annoying because I can hear it through my headphones. So I'm just going to move my
You got to
cable
wear underwear for that
behind
too.
me.
Wait, what'd you say?
I'm sorry. No. Anyway, what were we talking about? So, but the card acquisition rate does seem lightning fast. But yes, but everyone's in a sprint because the thing is
Everyone's
at
in
the
a
moment
sprint. Yeah.
is because there's so much numbered stuff and there's all these parallels. I think that's why everyone's in a sprint because everyone's trying to just get their rainbows. And I've seen people collecting rainbows. All of a sudden, rainbows is in fashion. I've seen people collecting rainbows of characters I hadn't even heard of or even know they went for. A lot of people are doing rainbows because it's accidental. A lot of people are doing rainbows because it's the thing to do.
Honestly, I was just
And
speaking
in
to
2 years'
someone.
time, they'll be selling them.
So this is not someone who would be doing that, but you're absolutely right.
Mm,
You're 100% right. But this person I was just talking to, who's a buddy of ours, Rust, and
mm.
he went for a rainbow recently that he showed me from Spider-Man Metal. I don't know if I could say the character because I don't want to cause
No,
him
no, 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 no. That's fine.
more of a headache.
Yeah.
But he was loving it and having a good time. But it was really, I will say that there is some kind of stupid fun about collecting a character that no one else seems to care about,
Mm,
rainbowing, because I had that kind of experience with Spot. It was like where I'm kind of a part of it, but
yeah,
no
yeah,
one
yeah.
cares. And I'm like, this is awesome. But no, there is a lot of rainbow hunting. This is happening in the Star Wars thing too. Like personally, like
It's because all the coloured parallels in that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm out. I think I'm out of the rainbow stuff. Like I
Really?
honestly like no, in all seriousness, like I think
Yeah.
because there's gonna be prices that I'm not gonna compromise on. So like surfer wise, when he comes back, or like even Mando, I'll just talk about Mando. There are cards out of five that are really pretty cards that I'd like to get the out of five edition because it's the closest one to the one of one. I
Mm,
can spend 200, 230 there and be done with collecting the set. And that's the only, it's like buying a box, but
mm.
in one card, which is my
Yes.
logic,
Well, you get the
right?
card that you wanted from that box.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's done, it's
Without
over.
having all
And
the other stuff sitting on your shelf for years and years.
exactly. And then I don't buy anything for a month or two
Mm,
and I'm good and everything's copacetic. But like the truth is, like, people are charging thousands of dollars now for something simply numbered with a color variant. I'm really trying not to shit on people's collections, but it's so hard to be a person that talks publicly about things and then not be honest about how you feel about things and get attacked. But I
hashtag real
don't
talk.
I
This
don't know
is
how
this
to
is a
not to
hashtag
do
real
it.
talk moment. Yeah,
I,
yeah. No, Amanda
I
was
just
doing it
don't
the
know
other
how
night.
not to do it. And I just can't I just can't not do it. And the truth is I don't understand why anyone would pay that kind of money for something just because of a hard numbered.
Yeah.
And the truth is, there's a whole business, a whole group of people, a whole world of collectors out there that have built their whole collections based on the rarity of the serial number. And there are huge cons and huge positives to doing it.
Mm.
No one else can have it insured rarity. You know what I mean? It's desirable for a lot of people because it's the number and
Holds
you
its
have
value.
proof of that,
Yeah.
holds its value.
Hmm.
So I am in the wrong. But personally, and I think that's what's also brought me back to the 90s cards, is I'm just like, I don't know if I'm all about this right now or in the
Mm.
future. Like, I gotta be honest, I was really MM16 really put a bad taste in my mouth for Marvel cards. That was awful. And it's not Jusco's work, and Jusco's the best. You know what I mean? Simply lovely and nice and all that stuff. And he did a great surfer. It's a phenomenal surfer. But
Mm.
collecting that rainbow put a bad taste in my mouth, and
Mm.
it really put me off from collecting like that ever again.
Mm.
And I just seen 20 cards as parallels, seeing what MM is going to be like in the future because I can already see what that's going to be. I gotta be honest, man. I don't think I'll ever rainbow again.
I mean,
I
the
think I'll
parallels.
get the
Yeah.
color I like the
Mm.
most personally, and
Yeah.
one that I think looks good with the character, and I think that'll be
Yeah.
it. And I'll get the inserts because I
Yeah.
think the inserts will look cool and
Mm.
different. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think for me, rainbows are no more.
Mm.
That's the end of that. I'll
Yeah.
never do that again.
I mean, I think the number of parallels on Spidey Metal is just. I mean, I could
20.
make a choice. I could make a choice. I could either go for the numbered stuff, or I could go for the EPAC achievement stuff. And I chose to go for the EPAC achievement stuff because it's not hard numbered, but there's damn few of those 100 combined greens out
Way
there.
more few than people even
Yeah,
give
yeah,
credit to.
exactly.
People don't even
So,
understand.
so I've got those, and who knows what condition they'll be in when they turn up because I'm seeing some really interesting posts about that. But, um, but yeah, but beyond that, the numbered stuff, apart from, the greens, I'm not going after because there's crazy mofos spending more money than cents and corner in that market at the moment, so that they're welcome to them, quite frankly.
Yep.
I don't, I need the green more than I need the green. That makes sense.
I like that.
You know
That
what
should
I
be
do?
on a that's a good
It
one.
should be, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
If you've got so
Damn,
much
Ian.
green, you're going to spend it all on green, then you need your head red. But, but collect how, or if collecting is actually what you're doing, how you want to. Um, but do you have any advice, guidance on patience? Well, we've said this before, so I don't want to repeat ourselves too much. But
Yeah, sorry.
wait it out on ComC. Don't go
Just wait.
nuts. Just, I mean, there've been some great posts where people have said, right, okay, a box cost this much. So I've waited a week and then I went on ComC and I spent this much, the same as the box, and I got this. And they broke it down and it was like bonkers, the
It's a
amount of stuff they
no-brainer.
got.
We've said this
Um,
from the very
yeah,
beginning. It's a
yeah,
no-brainer.
yeah,
Like, and I will say this: this is if you are rainbowing a character, like coming from character collectors, which Ian and I are, and Ian's also a set collector, which I only have like 2 or 3 sets, so I don't consider myself a set collector that way. But I will say that, the reason you save your money when you're rainbowing a character is because when you do see the card that's out of 10, out of 5, or out of 1, or a printing plate, you have to have the cash to buy that pretty quickly,
Mm,
unless it's really stupid money. Depends how
mm,
serious you are about the rainbow, obviously. Like I've done this many times, but
mm.
those are the things that can't be replaced, or those are the
Yeah,
things you're waiting longer for. And I
yeah,
will
yeah,
say
yeah.
this: some characters are seen as investment things. So what people will do is that they'll pay stupid money for it and then charge stupid money. No one buys it for stupid money.
And it
The
just
value of
hangs
the
around for
product's
ages.
gone
Yeah.
down, and then
Mm,
they have to get less than what they initially get in, and then they're desperate to sell. I've seen that happen to a lot of
hmm.
people. So you have to kind of be in sync with the hobby a little bit to understand what to pay for something. But that's what you spend money on if you're rainbowing seriously, um, at that level. Everything else, something out of 25, you have the next 2 or 3 years where you're going to see that card come up again. You know what I mean?
I know
50, we'll
exactly
see
what you
for
mean.
sure.
Oh,
Are you okay, brother?
yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I
Sorry.
did
I wasn't going to draw attention to it, but you looked rough.
no, 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 no. Thanks.
Okay.
I
I
think.
got worried.
Um, the it's really interesting. There's a question next from Joseph Reed that perfectly ties into this actually. But before
Oh,
I
go for
go,
it.
because I'm duty bound to help a fellow collector here. Side question from Paul Denisek: does anyone know the whereabouts of the 2015 Vibranium Speedball card number 66 black printing plate, or one of the 5 bar parallels, number to 5? So there, if anyone knows the location of any of those cards, please dial 1-800 hook Paul up, and yeah, or drop us a DM. But Joseph Reed, Old Man Venom. I love Joseph. We've got to get him on.
He's
He's an
great.
artist as well. Um,
Yeah, he's really great, actually.
how can people on ComC justify selling blues and grandios for 75 cents to $1.50 when packs are $40 and it takes 10 base to blue? Disposable income, I suppose. Not that I mind them being so cheap. I don't know if they need to justify it, but there are whales who just spend an absolute shed ton and they're after a certain thing. So the quicker they jettison the other stuff, the better. Because
You have
otherwise
to
it just sits
understand
on ComSig, you know.
there's multiple levels to this, man. If you don't, and I do this all the time. When I say I don't understand something, it's just because I'm not in that bracket. Like, there's
Hmm.
no way for me to like fully to comprehend someone's logic like that. Because you're
Mm,
right. Like, it makes no sense to sell them that cheap with how much you invested into them.
yeah.
But the truth is, like,
But they want
if
to
you
clear
sell
it
a bulk
quickly.
of those, they
Yeah.
want it out.
But that's the thing.
They don't want to sit with it.
If you look on ComC now, you will see hundreds of like grandios of most characters, right? And the thing is, they're just going to be sat there, most of them, for years. So
Years.
so Joseph sent this after like the product being out for like a week or less, if that. And at that point, yeah, they just want to get rid of them quickly because people at that point will be going on to buy up stuff because they want to nail the set and move on. Now, at the moment, there's no new set about to drop, so you know I'm not sure why the hurry on this one. I mean, there's a lot of pent up demand, and people like to collect anything, as as evidenced by the fact that Runaways sold out on ePack. Um, but people just want to collect a set and put it together, and that's the thing. It could almost be any set. Could be your old man Marvel Old Man Underpants set, and people would still
Upper Deck
afford it
is
just as
advertising the
quickly.
Western set they put out. They're advertising it every week more than I've seen them ever advertise anything for publishing comic book
Yeah,
Marvel stuff. So
yeah, and
I guess so.
they're doing. There was a post on LinkedIn the other day from Upper Deck, and I put, let me see if I can find it. This was hilarious. Whilst I find this, um, there was a great question. We've got some good questions. We've got about three
Yeah,
more
great.
left.
These are
Yeah,
awesome.
we've got about three left actually. Um, in fact, we might not get to them all, so apologies. Brian Hudson, aka Marvel Cards Up on Instagram. Why is why are purples and oranges of original art not regarded as high as similar as numbered parallels of recycled art? Well, Yeah, he's got a point. The burning question in my mind also, why the hell are Silver Spectrum autos being sold for $100 when they're infinitely better art perspective, artist auto, and cardstock than the uh, um, cards numbered of 10 from other sets? I feel I kind of know the answer, but never hear conversation about it. Um,
Everybody, yeah, you know, it cracks me up, man. If it's not one set, it's the other. Everyone wants to say something about one set or the other. The truth of the matter is this: the reason MM Signature Series 10s are not valued as much as green PMGs is just the audience who's spending a lot of money.
mm,
That's it. It has nothing to
hmm
do with what's special or more special.
yeah,
It's sad how irrelevant that perspective is, because it's not about taste. If it was about taste, there would be things in Marvel cards that not many people know about that everyone would be after.
that would be selling for selling
That
like
would be
hotcakes.
insane
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
grab. That would be
Mm.
so pricey that would make a Green Spider-Man 250K look like Mickey Mouse stuff, because that card should not. Anyway, the point is this: all that crazy stuff, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, whoever the audience is, they're going to make an assessment
Mm.
from their perspective, which is batshit or not batshit, just depends on
hmm
the person.
hmm
And they're going to put their money there because they feel confident about
Yep.
that.
Yep.
The lineage of a green PMG, there's a whole history behind the person who's buying it, and the people who like are into the sports market, they
Mm.
understand the insert.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
they
yeah.
look at MM16, a silver spectrum, and they're like, what's silver spectrum? That's not
Mm.
really around from where I
Mm.
come from. It's only been out for 3 years.
Yeah.
Why
Marvel
would I? Why
Masterpieces,
would
they
I
still make those. It's all the feedback Eugene had when he went to the National to display his collection.
see?
It's exactly that.
It's not necessary. And again, here's the thing that really should be thought of, in my opinion, right? If you have been in this hobby, which Brian hasn't, and Brian's a very nice guy and knows a lot about, and has been doing a lot with Marvel
Mm,
actually.
mm, mm,
Like all these other guys who've come in the last 2 or 3 years or however long it's been now, which I don't remember. And I'm sure he's been here longer, maybe. I don't know. But I think the issue is that it's not about trying to convince those people that this is what's expensive. It's about grabbing what you want, what you believe in, and sticking by your guns. And eventually people will come back around, and
mm,
you'll be the person
mm,
holding all this stuff. But again, that question is not coming from a space of collecting. That question's coming from a space like everyone else is having that question, which is, how do I put my money here? Why can't I put my money here and make a profit off here while
mm,
everyone's putting their money here? And this doesn't even make any sense of why they would
mm,
put their money here.
mm.
And I don't think Brian's asking from an investing point, because I know Brian also collects, but I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me why there's no way of convincing someone that. I've
No.
had this
Yeah.
conversation, and
Uh,
you know what I mean? And it doesn't
Yeah. And
does not
also, in terms
compute.
of that merry-go-round, Masterpieces isn't currently in people's forefront of its minds. Masterpieces is background at the moment, and the people who are getting on with it are just getting on with it. Apart from me,
And
who
it's
still haven't
controlled.
finished
Like
Tiers 1 to 3. But
the
it's,
people who have MM16 is just as controlled as the PMG market.
yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like,
Yeah,
we can
just
be
in a
honest
different
with
way.
each other.
Yeah.
It's not.
Mm,
It's not. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's
mm,
just real. There's
mm,
7, 10 people who own PMGs, 7 or 10 people who own all the MM16.
hmm
That's not a
Yeah. But
coincidence.
the PMGs
That's just
just have wider optics because they're
that's
regarded
it.
and
It has
known.
nothing to do
Yeah.
with better or
Yeah.
anything. It really
Yeah.
is
Just as a
about.
wider
And
audience.
I've tried to explain this to someone who was putting a lot of money into this stuff. And I told him, I was like, Marvel Masterpieces makes more sense. I'm not sure why you stuck on this. And this person who does collect and is collecting, not people who are pumping or dumping, this person who is actually collecting, they just didn't feel comfortable because they didn't know it.
Yeah.
That's really
That's the
that
thing.
at the end of the day, that
Yeah.
was their line. And
Get
it's
involved.
their money.
Get
You know what I mean?
involved.
What are you going
Yeah.
to say?
So anyway, yeah. So the post I was talking about, I saw a post on LinkedIn. It did make me laugh. So the Upper Deck company, real cards, real trades. Upper Deck EPAC bridges the gap from digital to physical, and lets you decide when, where, and how you want to experience collecting. Collectors can instantly purchase and open packs of trading cards and authentic collectibles at any time, from anywhere with Upper Deck e-Pack, or without missing the exciting pack opening experience. For more info, and to set up to a free account, and it's got the URL hashtag collect the best, hashtag hockey cards, hashtag trading cards, hashtag the hobby, hashtag NHL. And it's got a little promo video on there, like a 30-second promo video for Upper Deck e-Pack, which is kind of cute. It's really sweet. So I commented, you forgot hashtag Marvel cards, hashtag non-sports, which I know is really cheeky of me because they're clearly putting it up there as a B2B thing to speak more to the NHL partners that they have. But it did make me laugh. It did make me laugh.
Well, because like it should be on there.
It should
Like,
be on there. It should be on there.
dude, okay, Spider-Man Metal sold out. How quickly did that product sell out?
Mm.
2 weeks,
Made.
3 weeks?
I could probably do the math, but I'm not going to.
I don't
But
remember.
it's about 2 and a bit weeks.
And most of the product was sold on e-pack.
Hmm.
Like over 60% or
Hmm.
65%, maybe even higher,
Yeah.
sold on e-pack compared
I
to
don't know.
hobby
I just think
boxes.
it's a shame that it's shouldn't be one channel to pump one thing and one channel to pump another thing. Just have that visibility elsewhere. Anyway, Instagram. We're going to go on to Instagram now. A couple of really good ones from Instagram, and then we'll wrap up. So, Andre House, Dre, messaged me. He sent me a PM, and I don't know. Do you remember that time that Trump was tweeting? I'm sorry to bring up his
I
name on the
blocked all that
podcast,
out, so
but he was
probably not.
tweeting, and he clearly he was writing something, and then he said the word "covfeff," and then he clearly like the tweet ended, and everyone reckoned like, did he fall asleep while he was typing? Did he, it wasn't for hours later when he woke up or something like that, and it just became an instant thing. So Dre was PMing me, said, "You know what I want to know, but no one will answer me." That's all he said. I'm still waiting. So I don't know what you want to know, but no one will answer you, Dre, because you never told me.
That's
Unless
amazing.
it's some sort of psychic thing, unless
I
there's a joke
love
there I'm
it.
missing. I don't know. Maybe it's funny, but anyway, Dre,
That's
if
actually
you
pretty
if you
good.
fell asleep during that, I half expected your next word to be cough. In reply, Bryce Fife, who's on Instagram. I don't know if that's his actual name or just his handle. How's the collecting changed for each of you since the booming collecting? Um, we've talked about this a number of times. I mean, I've downsized massively because I can't keep up with everything that's going on, and I'm kind of focusing on a much happier, more attainable way of doing things. Although the recent parallels have kind of buggered that for me, but I'm just kind of going with what makes me happy now, rather than trying to buy lots.
Same.
I
I love
think.
that. I mean, I've always honestly, it's never I mean, truthfully, I've always collected Surfer. There are things that were very interesting to me, like the preliminary art set from MM18.
Mm,
Like, I just love that whole concept. And I know they did
beautiful.
it for something called
2020.
artist drafts, in the
Oh
Rittenhouse
yes, they
set.
did.
They did
Yeah.
those. And there's other things that I've seen and stuff like that. But like,
Something
like
about the
for that,
Bianchi one was
it was just,
just,
I just really loved seeing the thought process in his work, and I'm just a fan of it. It's just a bias.
but
And I
his line
collected that.
work was incredible.
It's just great. And I
Yeah.
collected that whole set. I plus got the redemption card with the art, and I felt like I can complete that, and I felt really good, and I really enjoyed that. And I think that set, the Marvel Legends set for the toys, Marvel
Mm,
Legends series one,
mm,
two,
mm,
three, and
mm,
four. I love that set. I did that whole thing complete, the
mm.
holograms and the base, which I just love that. That was just so much fun. Surfer was in it. It was in GameStop, but I was talking to Richard and Brian
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everybody, and it was just a fun time to
And it
do
was
that.
fairly affordable as well.
It was fun. It was a little hassle because GameStop, was a little bit of a nightmare here
Yeah.
and there. But like there were enough people in the hobby where I was lucky enough to get some sets and help people out, and they helped me out. It was just really fun. But I've been collecting the Surfer since the beginning, and because he's been banned, I've just
Mm,
been slowly but surely like getting all the cards that I just really love
mm,
in very good condition because the cards are special to me. Like at one point, so I guess this is to answer the question, maybe it was a little bit better, was the boom happened, everything was getting stupid expensive. People were selling the collections, asking me to help sell the collections. We've had questions. We've been swamped by all this stuff. And I think I looked at my collection and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick out what's the most important thing to me. I'm going to buy it on the cheap now and get it to the highest
Yeah.
grade or the highest quality, whether I decide to grade it or not, or sketches. And that's the stuff I'm going to just take time on. Stuff that's going to cost me a lot of money.
Mm.
But while everyone's losing their mind and everyone's, oh, this is expensive, maybe I'll think about selling now. That's the people I hit up. I was like, hey, you've never thought about selling. Look how crazy everything is. What are you thinking? And then I would sell something that people wanted because they lost their minds on.
Yeah.
I'd sell it for that price and then take that money and put it right into something I've been wanting for like 5+ years.
Yeah. That's it. Well, that's
That
exactly what I did.
that's
You know,
exactly what you
well,
did.
I
Yeah,
trimmed,
same thing.
I trimmed it down massively, and I went in for, well, it paid for last year's. Fuck, I've lost a year. This year's vacation, only
Oh,
3 months ago.
That's right. That's
Um,
right.
but it cleared the debt that I had. Paid for the vacation, and it meant that I could acquire a heck of a lot of the Star Trek autos that I was after. Um,
That's awesome.
and things like that. And I've kind of the frustrating thing is I've kind of run out of gas at the moment because the economy's just gone. So I haven't actually finished that, just that journey. But it's there's stuff that I really value now that I know I want to go after because I know I'll like it and I know I want it for the right reasons. So, for example, very recently I just saw a lot of Game of Thrones cards, auto cards. Now I know that's a very, very
Oh
deep hole
yeah.
to go into, a very deep hole,
Yeah.
because being Rittenhouse, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of auto cards
And
across
like
the
hardcore
Game of
collectors of
Thrones.
that stuff
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And I couldn't give a monkeys about having an Amelia Clark auto, but I saw this lot, and it was about, I don't know, maybe about 12 autos, and it was $75. That included shipping. And I was like,
Wow.
you know what? And I had it lying around. I was like, you know what? I'll have that. Because in the lot were Finn Jones, who went on to become Iron Fist. There was Roger Allam,
Hmm.
he's a major UK theatre and TV actor who's been in movies as well. He was in like Viva Vendetta, for example. He also does the
Cool.
voice of the narrator from a show my kid watches called Sarah and Duck. He does the
Yeah.
narration from that as well. And it's like, there's an auto
Cute.
from him from Game of Thrones. And there's the guy who was subsequently cast as Elrond in Rings of Power
Oh,
when he was in
nice.
Game of Thrones, and about, loads of other English character actors. And it was $75. And I was like, you know what? Even if this is the beginning and end of my Game of Thrones auto collection, I've got some really, some actors that I really rate.
Yeah,
And I'm absolutely happy with that. And that's
that's
gonna,
awesome.
I'm gonna keep hold of those, and they're beautiful cards. Um, but I don't feel, much as I'd like to acquire more Game of Thrones autos, I'm not going to do it just for the sake of doing it. So I've looked into it this week, and I'm like, I just can't. So it's fine.
No, and
Um,
that's and like you just, it's unfortunate, but that's just the future, right? It's
mm,
just like you really have to be honest with
mm,
yourself. It's not casual anymore. Like
mm,
collecting requires a little more
yeah,
finesse and concentration.
yeah,
It's not a casual thing. And I think that's the aggression for a lot of people. So it makes sense.
yeah. Last question, I think, because almost questioned out, even though we've maybe got two that we didn't get to, but we will put a pin in those. The Infinite Collector. Why do
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like I know that person? Who is that?
You do know that person. That is you'll have to
Who is
find
the
out, bring your
Infinite
name.
Collector? What is the Infinite
Infinite
Collector's
collection.
real name and social security number, please, no one? Look
I
that up for me right now. Um,
feel like we know this. I know this
what?
person, don't I?
It's not Isidore, is it? It's not Izzy asking a question under a different channel.
Maybe it is Izzy.
Is it? Is that him? So
It might be
he's asked
Izzy.
us questions on different channels. What new sets are you guys looking forward to the most? Even if the price is crazy and you have to really save for it in advance. Also, what if boxes keep coming out at $600? Would each of you keep going or be content with what you collected over the years? On the latter part, I'd be content with what I collected over the years and go after other stuff. That's already happening. Um, but what new sets are you guys looking forward to the most, even if the price is crazy and you really had to save for in advance? Um, it's got to be masterpieces. Starts and stops for me with masterpieces. I
I
think.
like masterpieces a lot. I don't know if
I mean, obviously, I
I
don't
mean,
know who the artist is, but
see, that's where it gets me. Like I
yeah.
have to know the artist
But
for
I am
me to
looking
like.
forward to it. I mean, what are you most looking forward to? It's got to be that. Even though I've seen images of other sets, a Fleer Ultra Avengers, I like that it's coming. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm not going to wade into that set because with the economy and with the price of cards now, I can no longer wade into every set like I used to. Um, so yeah, I think masterpieces is if I was to pare everything back, it's the one thing I'd carry on going for each time it came out.
I'm so picky. It's really tough. I'm really picky on artists. So it depends on the artist. But I don't think I
You'd
would
need to
collect
know,
it.
wouldn't you?
I just, because I'm not a set collector.
Yeah,
Like, and
exactly.
I love seeing the cards, but it's
Mm.
one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm happy I saw the picture. I'm happy
Mm.
I seen the card. I've experienced it. Do I need it in hand to look at it every once in a while? It's just not my thing
Yeah.
to do that. So I probably wouldn't, even if it had Surfer in it, I probably wouldn't collect the whole set. Like, for some weird reason, and I don't think this should be an expensive set, obviously, because it's going to be a massive set, and I don't know how well it's going to do. And I'm not saying I'm excited about it because of anything,
Mm.
but I was recently looking at the inserts from the original beginnings,
Yes.
like the micro motions and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. And I was kind of like, man, these are really cool. Like the holograms, the Marvel Now. You know what I mean? Like there's like I'm excited for like a cool insert. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
No, it is
Like,
absolutely cool. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely makes
For like
sense.
beginnings, I hope they do some like weird kind of cool inserts because I've seen the Fleer Ultra inserts and they're nice, but they're more high end. So I'm not gonna like partake. But I'd like
Mm.
to see what creative things they do for the new inserts for beginnings. I guess
Mm.
that's where I'm at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
funny enough, you mentioning that, I am going to squeeze in one more question because Dave Marley asked this. And I have a feeling we're going to expand on this on another episode because I don't think we're going to nail it now. But he asked, are there any technical or design innovations from other mediums, print or digital, that you'd like to see imported into Marvel cards? The inclusion of platinum portraits into the recent metal sets is an example of a design choice that I think made the crossover from sports nicely, apart from maybe the art selection. You guys have mentioned adding actual design on the back of printing plates before from Star Wars, and I've seen people, maybe you, float the idea of a virgin variant for masterpieces, i.e., where the front of the card is just the painting. Thanks for taking my call. I'll hang up and listen. Dave Marley, bless him.
I
Um,
love it.
technical design innovations from other mediums. I need to think about that some more. So this is why I wanted to pump that to another episode. Um, but yeah, and that's the thing. I'm curious to see what I loved about Masterpieces 18 was that it introduced the preliminary art, and that hadn't been done before on a Masterpieces set. And I think for that particular artist, it worked exceptionally well. I
Yeah.
think I like that on Masterpieces 20, they added something else, which was the metallurgy, which are gorgeous. And I love the quality of them. I think
Mm.
I might actually love the metallurgy more than the physical experience of having the actual card. I know that sounds crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, because they
Wow.
just feel so nice. Seriously, I'm going after the Planet Metal, just the base ones, not the numbered ones
That's cool.
from Spider-Man Metal Universe, because I just love the way they are, and I loved the Master
They're
of
nice.
Magnetism ones from Fleer Ultra X-Men
Those
2018,
are
even though I
great.
sold them.
Those are really nice.
Um,
Underrated.
but give me a set that's all those
Mm.
45 cards, 36
That'd
cards,
be
something like
interesting.
that. Give me a set that's all those. In fact, mash up mash up the metallurgy with something like Decades. Do you see what I mean? Start doing
I
some of
like
those.
that a lot.
Yeah,
I like
but
that a lot.
I think what I'm saying is start doing some of the design choices, but doing them in a different physical format. Start playing around with that a little bit more would be good.
You know what I like to see because I'm a 90s kid, but
Mm.
so those posters from the 70s with the Marvel stuff where they have black light and it's the Jack Kirby stuff and they're black light or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? There's
No,
a bunch of them. There's a Doctor Strange, there's a Namor, there's a Surfer. I'll show it to you. I don't have anything
I see.
nearby.
My head goes to the Ghost Rider glow in the dark cards, but I know that's not
Right,
what you're talking
right.
about.
No, no, it's like it's really colorful and weird. It's from the 70s. There was like a
Right.
series of these really psychedelic looking posters.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I know the ones you mean. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
Mm,
talking about.
mm,
Yeah. I like to see an insert set like that. Like
mm,
because like I was looking at Silver Age recently and
Yeah.
looking at the Jack Kirby cards, the tribute to Jack Kirby
Mm,
there, and like they have some really cool art that you just don't
yeah.
see, like really interesting and weird. I like to see something like that, but with like a glow in the dark effect, or like a layered, like a
Yeah.
suspension animation type of thing, something to
Yeah.
make it really look complex and interesting. um I like to see something like that as an insert set would be kind of cool. Like, I don't know, I haven't
Mm.
seen a lot of glow in the dark type of stuff.
Scratch and Sniff needs to make a comeback.
Oh, Punisher,
The
Guns and
Punisher.
Smoke. That was good. That was
Punisher.
cool,
Is that
man.
the only set that had that?
I don't know.
I
I
think it
feel
might be
like it
the only
is
Marvel set that's had that.
that
I
I
mean, if
can think
anyone,
of.
seriously,
Yeah,
answers on a postcard, folks. If you know of another set that's done a smell thing, apart from
a scratch
maybe
and
if it's
sniff.
been in your shoe bag for too long,
That would be
but
cool.
glow
That
in the
would be fun.
dark. Obviously, that was Ghost Rider set two
Yeah,
from Comic Images.
yeah,
And
baby.
Comic Images. Some people maybe not don't remember them that well, but they tried some pretty good stuff considering the
They had
technology they had
fun.
to work with.
It feels like they had fun,
They
especially with
tried to
like,
make it more interesting than what they had,
for sure,
because otherwise, all they were doing was reproducing images from somewhere else. It wasn't until Marvel
100%.
Universe that they started making proper stuff. But yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, listen, I'll think of something while I'm on the toilet on Wednesday morning, and then I'll jot it down because
And
that'll
then
be
you'll
the
get
same.
into it. Yeah,
But the Virgin variant, I love that idea,
I
which is
like
what
that.
one of the reasons why I like the preliminary so much. Because apart from I think it was the Marvel Masterpieces logo. There's nothing else on the front
Yeah,
of the card.
not really. No, I don't even think there's a name for each character on the front of the card.
And mercifully, I don't even think the Upper Deck logo's on the front,
No, I think it's on the back.
which is cool because
Yeah, I have to look again. I have it
sometimes that
somewhere
needs
near me,
to not be on the
but that
front.
would be cool. That would be
Um,
cool. Yeah, I don't know. I like to see something weird. You know what I mean? Like looking back through the collection, like I don't know. I like to see something weird. You know what I mean?
just
Surprise
not
me. Like the retro
just
stuff was great.
yeah,
Like that was fun.
just not wooden cards again.
I don't mind wooden cards, but you can't tell me to stack a card into a totem.
Well, no,
Like
that's the thing.
that.
That wasn't actually made of wood. That's the thing.
Oh, that's right.
But
That's
No
right.
Boys Allowed, I think it was from Marvel
Oh, you're right.
Gems.
From the yeah,
That
that's
actually
right.
had wood in it, and it's just
That actually had wood in it. That was a little weird.
that was
Like
a little strange.
they do some wood cards with Star Wars, right? Like that's an insert, the wood insert, and they have autos on them and stuff.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. I tell you what I do.
I
I
feel
tell
like
you
there
what I'm
is. There is.
right. Sets that I'm going back to the sets that you're really looking forward to. There's a set that's just come out and it's not Marvel. Sorry, not sorry. Um, the new Middle Earth set from CZX, Cryptozoic. It's just broken this week, and it's been a long
It's really
time coming.
pretty.
It's been delayed, and it's just I was looking at some of the cards. I just want a base set and the film sales, and I'm happy. The film sales look gorgeous.
The
You
film
know what?
sales are nice. They have like that
Yeah.
gold foil on them. They're really,
Mm.
I mean,
So do the
the
base.
allocation on
So
that set.
I've got some of the promos, and they're just
Oh,
beautiful. They
did
feel
you?
Black Diamondy.
Nice.
They're on the Black Diamond
Oh,
spectrum. They're
that's
that high
cool.
end. But yeah, no, the collation on them has been ghastly. I think
I feel
they've
so
ended up.
bad for collectors.
Oh, I think it was Matt. Matt was one of them that had the short end
Poor
of the stick
Matt.
because he bought loads of cases. But you had, I think he was so upset he had to stop his YouTube feed after like the
I don't
third or
blame
fourth
him.
case
He had
and
a
open the rest
case,
privately.
and every
But it's
sketch was the same character.
character. That's the thing, and that's what. So whatever decision has been made, whoever's been let out of the let out of the back house to collate on that product has just done the worst job whatever because they've put characters together in terms of sketches in the case. They've put I think was it artists has also been grouped together
Yeah, there was
in some
some weird
cases.
stuff. It was
There's some
awful.
bizarre
Like
stuff.
it
It's
was
just
awful.
really like, and people are really upset about it. I mean,
It's
rightly
yeah, they should
so.
be.
Rightly so.
Rightfully so. They've
That's the
been waiting
worst.
over two
Yeah.
years for that, and
Mm.
that's what happens.
I know. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. But apart from that,
The set's beautiful. It
apart
looks
from that,
great.
it looks amazing, and people seem to be really enjoying it. And I think
Yeah,
there's enough of a
that's right.
community there that they are now like swapping between themselves to
Hopefully they
get
fix
over
it.
the
They
yeah.
should fix it,
But
really.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not as in touch with it to know if Cryptozoic have said anything publicly about it, but I know they've
No, me
had some
neither.
very very strong feedback on it.
I've
Anyway,
only been talking to
but
Matt.
in terms of sets that they're looking forward to, outside of masterpieces from Marvel, I'm always looking forward to the autos
Oh,
on your MCU sets.
Jesus. Hollow Ink 2. It gets here in a week or so.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I
like
missed that one.
freaking psyched.
I missed it.
Furnace
I
Studios,
keep forgetting
Hollow
when they
Ink.
go
I'll
on
give you
sale.
one of my base sets. I'll give you
Oh,
one of my
mate,
base
I'd love
sets.
one. Yeah.
Unless Donnie gets you, you can have two. I don't care.
Well, to
But
be honest
like,
with you, Donny will be getting some as well. I mean, Tony and Lane
yeah,
hooked me up last time, and I don't expect them to do that. Obviously, because I'm not after handouts, but they hooked me up last time when I missed it because I just for some reason I think is it a Saturday they go on sale or a Sunday? I can't remember.
it was when I was at New York Comic
It's
Con.
what, yeah. So
So
whatever day it is,
whatever day that
it's
was,
just always sometime around dinner time, and
busy
I'm looking
day.
for the
No,
family. So it's
but it
like I
looks
always miss it.
so good. No, it
Yeah,
looks so good. I have some extra base sets, so if anybody
yeah.
wants one, I'll just send it to you. You don't have to pay.
But I know
Um,
people buy. I think that people can buy up to 10 sets, and you get a sketch with each set. And the set is small,
yeah,
isn't it? It's like
yeah,
15, 20, 18 cards or whatever it is.
giddy.
But the thing is, I unlike most people who go after those sets that I'm aware of. I mean, there might be some people like me out there who go for the Perna sets. I just go for it for the base and the chase.
I
I love
collected
it.
all the Halloween horror
Yeah,
ones.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
I'm
Where
in it
some people
hard.
just buy it for the
The
sketches and they go
sketches,
after the
yeah, and I
sketches,
get that because the
which is
sketches
great.
are
They are
stunning.
amazing. They're top end, because it's a set done by it's a set done by artists for artists.
Yes. Yep. Like it's really,
You can
it's
feel the
such
love.
high quality.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
You
the
just feel
DNA, there's
like,
the love.
yes, yes. They just understand what they're doing
Mm,
and they're fans of cards. They're fan of sketch cards.
yeah,
And that's the thing that's so crazy is like they
yeah,
understand why a sketch card is
yeah,
important or historically
yeah,
interesting or what the artist can do within that medium.
yeah,
Like it's just, I caught it late. You've told me about it for years, and I just didn't have the money or the
mm,
brain wave. You know what I mean? The
mm,
bandwidth to get there.
mm.
Because I was doing Surfer so hard. But I went backlogging on that. I have like Halloween 1 through 4.
Yeah, I
I
did.
got the creatures. I
Yeah.
got the Hollow Ink. Like I'm doing all their creepy ones. I'm not doing the fairy tale stuff or the monster
Oh, I'm
or
doing
the
it
other
all.
thing.
Doing
I
it all.
wish. I just can't. In my
I'm doing it
head,
all.
I have to be really specific. So I'm just filling up that Halloween binder.
Yeah,
But I hopefully I have to hit them up. I'm sure it's gonna
yeah.
start shipping out
Oh, I mean,
this
I'm
week.
sure they will. Listen, I mean, I
They're
give them
beasts. It's
all the
always awesome.
latitude in the world on that, and so does everyone else. And
Yeah, they're great.
I've seen things
Always.
where Elaine or Tony have posted and said, it's not fair of someone to be, because they've had some, I think it was on the set before where one of them posted and said, oh, yeah, we understand that people are disappointed, but to swear at Elaine on email because you missed the set, it's
Who
just like
would do
who
that?
would it? It's just like, and everyone was going name
That's
and
so
shame, and
rude.
they shouldn't. But honestly, whoever that person is,
Yeah, get them
seriously,
out of there. We
it's
don't
like,
know. Because the people who collect
just don't be like that.
that set sells out
Yeah,
every like within a couple
rightfully
hours,
so,
not even.
rightfully so, and they handle
Rightfully
it
so.
in a really fair way, and it's not that I didn't know it was coming up. So, if I missed it, it's on me. You know, if it's
I almost missed
oversubscribed,
it. I was
it's
like
just the
this
luck of the
close.
draw.
Yep.
It's
Stupid
whatever it will be.
lucky.
But it goes back
Yep.
to Paul's question about patience. Just be patient.
You'll find it. It
You
comes
know,
up.
you'll get it.
These things take
You'll get
time.
it.
They
You know,
You'll take it. Yeah.
I'm still missing some chase cards from the earlier sets and maybe at least one base set. I'll get them sooner or later. I'm not in a
It
rush.
happens.
And Tony and Lane have been more than supportive and generous to us with both that
They're the
and
best.
their stuff. So
So grateful
hats
that they're
off to
full
them.
support.
I'm just gonna leave the final word for this episode to Tony. Radish.
Radish. Enjoy collecting your radishes, people.
I thought you were gonna say enjoy radishes.
I
Enjoy
was gonna say
radishes.
that. I
Enjoy
shouldn't say
radishes.
that.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. Let's do
All
it
right.
again. Let's say enjoy radishes.
Radish collecting.
Done. Done.